Hi everyone, my name is Aaron and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to share a story with you that I heard this week, or I guess it's last week, of a city official calling David Miscavige's bluff and Miscavige folding like a cheap lawn chair. This story illustrates perfectly how the city of Clearwater cannot trust David Miscavige, cannot trust Scientology, cannot rely on Scientology or Miscavige for truthful or honest information. And it also illustrates why Clearwater leadership needs to get over this idea that somehow a new broom is going to sweep clean. That every new person who comes along wants to build a bridge with Scientology, like the people who came before them didn't know what they were doing or something. The reason Scientology has such a problematic relationship with the city of Clearwater has to do with Scientology. It doesn't have to do with the diplomacy or negotiation skills of the people in leadership at the city of Clearwater. And speaking of which, we really do need more leadership in the city of Clearwater who isn't afraid to directly take on the Church of Scientology. And that is exactly why I am running for Clearwater City Council. If you want to support my campaign for Clearwater City Council, you can do so here at aaronforclearwater.com. So this story takes us back to 2017, and some of the viewers of this channel will be familiar with this information, but for those of you who aren't, let me catch you up very quickly. Back in early 2017, there was a massive war going on here in Clearwater between Scientology and Winter the Dolphin. Specifically, on Scientology's side of the fight, we had the angry, diminutive little fellow known as David Miscavige. And on Winter the Dolphin's side of the fight, we had the Clearwater Marine Aquarium and its then CEO, David Yates. For those of you not familiar, we have our mainland and then we have our Clearwater Beach, and you access the beach by going over a causeway. Clearwater Marine Aquarium is located off of the causeway that connects mainland Clearwater to Clearwater Beach. Well, back in 2017, the Clearwater Aquarium was looking to relocate its operations to be located right in downtown Clearwater on the mainland, just before the causeway that leads to the beach. As a part of this effort, the aquarium had acquired some prime downtown waterfront property that it hoped to move the aquarium to. For a variety of reasons that fall more on the shoulders of the city itself and not on the aquarium, those plans fell through. Once those plans fell through, the aquarium decided it was going to sell this piece of land. Like I said, this was a lot that was right on the water overlooking the bluff that we have in Clearwater, but it's also located directly behind and next to two or three of the most important Scientology buildings on the flag land base that Scientology has here in Clearwater. Now, because you can't actually join Scientology in Clearwater, and because David Miscavige spends so much time here at the flag land base, and because he's so paranoid about security, Scientology wants as few non-Scientologists around its base as possible. So once Miscavige found out that the aquarium was going to sell this lot, he decided he had to have it. Miscavige knew that if he didn't buy this property was going to end up in the hands of a developer who was going to build something fantastic there that would attract tons of non-Scientologists to downtown Clearwater. And Miscavige can't have something like that happening. This lot that we're talking about was valued at around $4.25 million. So David Miscavige, through one of his local puppets, Ben Shaw, approached David Yates and offered to buy the property. David Yates said absolutely not, for two reasons. When Scientology buys a property, it takes it off of the public tax rolls. And also, when it buys a property, it develops it only for the private use of Scientologists. We're talking about prime commercial waterfront property in downtown Clearwater. David Yates had a sense of responsibility to the city and to the people of Clearwater to make sure that this property was kept in public hands for public use. Or even if it was in private hands, that it was developed for a use that would be open to the public and would generate economic activity for the city of Clearwater. So Miscavige kept increasing his offer, and David Yates continued to stick to his guns. Scientology's offer got as high as $15 million for this $4 million property. And I have it on very good authority that $15 million is simply the highest offer that was made in writing, and that Miscavige actually verbally offered $20 million for the property. And yet David Yates continued to say, no, this property is not going to Scientology. He said, I'm not going to support and enable what your organization is doing to downtown Clearwater. I'm sticking to my guns. This property is going to the city. Now, once the Clearwater Marine Aquarium and the city of Clearwater finalized their deal, of course Scientology went on an all-out offensive against David Yates, against the aquarium itself. Scientology tried to get David Yates fired from his job. They tried to get funding pulled from the aquarium, because that's just the kind of petulant little toddler that David Miscavige is. So that brings you up to speed and sets the stage for this story. So there was a period here between the time when the aquarium in the city had a signed contract and when the contract actually got executed. There was a period here of probably a couple months. During this short time period, Miscavige realized he wasn't going to have any success trying to change David Yates' mind. So he decided he was going to try to convince the city of Clearwater to back out of the contract. Miscavige decided he was going to make the city of Clearwater an offer they couldn't refuse. He put together a very massive and sophisticated multimedia presentation with digital renderings and fly-throughs and everything you could hope for. And in order to avoid having to do this presentation in public, and in order to avoid the sunshine laws that dictate how local Clearwater government and Florida government operates, he did these presentations one-on-one with various members of Clearwater's leadership. And basically what Miscavige was proposing to the city of Clearwater is that if you back out of buying this property from the aquarium, we'll step in and we'll purchase it for, whatever price we agreed to at the aquarium. But in return for the city basically doing us this favor and letting us buy this property that we so desperately want, let me show you what we're going to do for the city of Clearwater. And he said that Scientology itself would fund a complete renovation, revitalization of the entire downtown business corridor of Clearwater. He would pay for new facades to be put up on all of the privately owned businesses on these streets. He also proposed building a giant entertainment center complex, like a movie theater, shopping mall kind of thing, right in downtown Clearwater in partnership with Tom Cruise. It was this whole over-the-top proposal that Miscavige is like, there's no way they can say no to this. Miscavige was counting on the fact that these city leaders would be worried that if they said no to this, the people of Clearwater would be like, oh my God, how could you turn down such a fantastic offer? So this is the story I heard this week from the person who was in the meeting. He said, we had these meetings with Miscavige, and he was giving us these presentations. And it puts us in a really tough spot because we have no way if we can take their word that they're going to follow through on these things that they're going to do. We have to do what's in the best interest for the people of Clearwater, and yet this is an organization that generally people don't trust. They don't have a history of keeping their word, particularly in Clearwater. And these were one-on-one meetings, so this city official said right to David Miscavige's face, look, let me try to appeal to reason, appeal to logic here. You are proposing that we back out of a land purchase, $4.25 million. Instead of us paying $4.25 million, you're going to pay $15 million for this property. And then in exchange, you're going to spend tens of millions of dollars upgrading and developing and helping downtown Clearwater. And if we do A for you, you're going to do B for us. But we have no idea if you're going to keep your word. And the city officials said, this particular plot of land that we're talking about, I don't think this land is particularly vital to the future redevelopment of downtown Clearwater. I think the city of Clearwater could do without this lot of land. So why don't we flip the script on this a little bit? Let's make it easier for you. Let's make it easier for the city. Let the city purchase this land for $4.25 million. You, in the meantime, carry through on everything you've promised to do for downtown Clearwater in this presentation. Show the city, show the citizens that you are a true partner with us in redeveloping downtown Clearwater. And I can all but guarantee you that if you do that, and then you come back to us and ask to purchase this lot of land, we will sell it to you for market value. This would be a win-win scenario. Scientology would save $10 or more million. Downtown Clearwater would get quite a facelift and quite an economic boost and have an attraction that would bring more non-Scientologists downtown. The entire plan, the entire project could move forward quickly, and it really would be win-win. Now keep in mind, this city official and no city official has the authority to make such a deal, and that's not what this official was attempting to do. Anything like this has to be approved by the city council. A majority approval on the council would be required. But this official was basically pointing out to Miscavige that there's a better way to get this done that's better for everybody and saves a lot of money and would show everyone, would prove to everyone that Miscavige and Scientology could in fact be trusted, which at the end of the day is what this entire problem boiled down to. Nobody trusts Scientology. Nobody can take their word for anything, and for good reason. So what this city official was really doing was calling Miscavige on his bluff. He was saying, look, you've got something you want to accomplish. The city has something it wants to accomplish. If you're being honest, if you're being sincere, and if we can trust you, there's a path forward. And instead of showing any interest whatsoever in negotiating what such a deal could look like, Miscavige said, nope, not interested. We want the property now. And this official was telling me the story, and I'm like, okay, I want to make sure we're on the same page. We agree that this means Miscavige had absolutely no intention of following through on everything he was promising to do for downtown Clearwater, right? Like, we're reading this the same, right? And he said, absolutely. He had no intention of doing what he said. So I want this story to be a silver lining, that we at least do have some leadership in the city of Clearwater who understands Miscavige just can't be trusted. The organization just can't be trusted. To understand how to deal with this organization, you have to understand it down to its DNA. You have to understand what motivates it. You have to understand what motivates Miscavige. You can't just think you're the new smartest guy in the room who's going to do what no one else before has been able to do, which is appeal to logic, appeal to reason. Logic and reason are not why Scientology and David Miscavige behave the way that they do. Their actions are motivated by what David Miscavige believes is best for David Miscavige and the flag land base. Neither David Miscavige nor Scientology give a damn about Clearwater, about downtown Clearwater, about economic redevelopment, about bringing non-Scientologists downtown. We need more leadership in Clearwater who truly understands this. And again, this is a very big reason for why I am running for Clearwater City Council. If you can help me spread the word as far and wide as possible to anyone and everyone who would like to support my campaign, that would be an enormous help. AaronForClearwater.com is where you can direct people. All right, everyone, that's all I have for right now. Thank you for watching. Extra big thank you for those who watched until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.